I, I thought I could hold it together. During the talk back, remind us, thank you so much, Chris, remind us to tell you guys what we were discussing right before this went live. But since we are live, hi everyone. Welcome to the Symphony. Symphony Entertainment, Gaming, and Arts is my gaming company that focuses on a few things: horror systems, indie games, organic content, and player agency in an attempt to bring a symphonic approach to horror role-playing, which honestly, guys, I think public access hits this in a way that's not even funny, because it's like horror game, check, indie system, absolutely, organic content, we're all creating this as we go. Like Nate wrote it, but like so many of the clues and the mysteries and the NPCs and the worlds and the reaction, we're doing it to ourselves. And you want to talk about player agency? It's been a completely player-driven table. Like, this experience has been absolutely exceptional, but I'll talk about more of that in the talkback because I actually have a copy I'm supposed to read. I am your host, Bridgett Jeffries, and this afternoon, evening, depending on where you are, hi, Chris, we are playing Public Access, published by the Gauntlets. This is the end, the finale, the final episode in a 5-part series that has been streaming live right here on Symphony's Twitch. And this is it, guys. We're all going to die in the desert. So, one quick announcement. Symphony Entertainment does have a Patreon. If you like this content and you'd like to help us make more of it, please consider backing us like this entire cast has chosen to do. Love you guys. At patreon.com/Symphony Entertainment. So, without further ado, guys, let us unveil this cast. Cast members, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, where people can find you, and what scares you most about the desert. Per usual, we're rolling out first. Don't Stop Me Now.
Hey, yeah, it's me, Miranda, aka Don't Stop Me Now. I'm playing Jordan Briggs, lover of TV show theme songs. We'll see if I can sneak another one in today. Also, lover of Odyssey tapes. So I have that going for me as well. You can find me all over Discord as Don't Stop Me Now, over on the Old Ways podcast, where I play Dr. Aaron Weber, sometimes that kind of doctor on our Delta Green, sometimes impossible landscape, sometimes other things playthrough over there. And you can find me over on the Miskatonic Playhouse doing various things. Have a game coming up over there that should be out soonish. And yeah, find me soon on Roll Better with Nate, who's also here. June 17th, I think, is when we have our first episode planned to come out. And the thing that scares me most about the desert, you fuckers, I've lived in the desert. Okay, everything. It's everything. The desert is trying to kill you. Everything that is in the desert wants you dead. You know what happens if you go out in the desert at night? You don't turn on the lights because there's bugs everywhere. Also, I live in Nebraska and people talk about black widow spiders, but I had never seen one till I lived in the fucking desert. And then they're all over your house. They're fucking everywhere at night. You could just walk around the house outside at night and see like 15 black widow spiders, scorpions everywhere, rattlesnakes everywhere. Walk through, get cactus in your leg playing frisbee golf. Everything in the desert's trying to kill you. Goat's head, thorns, it's stuck in your sandals. It's horrible. Okay? That's what scares me most about the desert. Everything.
Miranda, you want to talk about it, or like you want us to? Because we can stop and talk about it right now.
I don't go on and on and on. Jackrabbit's huge.
I don't know what was better. How upset you are.
Monsoon season. Monsoon season, your car get washed right away. Because they don't have sewers for rainwater there. The rain just takes you.
Oh.
Desert people, leathery skin.
Oh, yep.
So, I think I covered a lot of it, yeah.
I don't think I could have asked a better question for you, Miranda, and I'm going to keep that in my pocket.
You said that,
for a rainy day.
I was like, oh, I got a fucking answer for this one.
And let me tell you, I know Nate allegedly loves you, but the way he clowned you for the entire 6 minutes during that rant, Nate ain't shit, and you should know that. I just want I'm not. You engage with your friendships the way you choose, but I'm just letting you know he did not have your back.
I enjoyed every second of that. Every moment of that was pure joy and bliss.
Holy shit. Okay. Tiffany, love of my life, baby, tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things you do, and if there's anything left, something that scares you about the desert.
Hi, I'm Tiffany, and you can find me at the Old Ways podcast. I'm not currently doing anything. We just wrapped up a VTM arc, like one shot. And I'm doing this. I'm moving. So once I do that, then I'll have my website up. But otherwise you can find me at Color Cat Designs on all social medias. I will be doing some art shows later this year, probably October-ish. So yeah. The thing that scares me about the desert is mostly the bugs, because the
Yeah.
spiders are huge. And the other arachnids, which I don't think scorpions are technically arachnids. I can't remember. Either way, they'll kill you too, and they're gross. And the smaller they are not safer. They are more dangerous. So remember that.
Mm.
Giant cockroaches crawl up through the sewers into your house, and they just oh, that's a water bug. No, that's a giant fucking cockroach, and it's just you got
And
to
they
pour bleach
fly.
down your drains because they crawl up.
And they fly at you.
Yep.
Oh, the flying is disrespectful. Like, it's bad enough you're just here uninvited, but you're flying too. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Nate, tell us who you are, where people can find you, some of the things you do, and what scares you most about the desert.
Hey, I'm Nate, your friend Nate on Discords. You can find me same places you can find everyone else, it sounds like. I do have a couple one-shots of community work coming up, one for Miskatonic Playhouse, one for the Old Ways that I'm excited about. They both happen to be penned and authored by Dr. Matthew Doc Tracy, who's all over the place
Hey!
too, which was not planned, but it was a pleasant little surprise. Also, Possible Landscapes campaign at the Old Ways. Sort of bittersweet to be wrapping up public access with this group. This has been a modified alternative take on some of the gameplay to get it done in 5 2-hour sessions. I've had a blast, and I hope everyone else has had a blast. I ain't scared of shit in the desert. There ain't nothing in the desert that can touch me, hurt me. I will stomp and destroy, and nothing in the desert is actually scary to me. I will go into the
Your
desert.
hubris will be your downfall, Nathan.
I will disrobe and I'll roll all over the sand all night long in the desert, and all it will do is make me stronger and more powerful the next morning. So bring it on, desert. Can't touch me.
So my goals for 2025 is just to get a video of me in Arizona talking shit about Nate and just keep asking, are you scared now? You scared now? You scared? You know what? 2025, amazing things could happen. You never know. This is it, and it's worth it. To antagonize Nate at that level would be totally worth it to me. Guys, content warnings have been discussed with the cast and crew. The X card is in play. X is going to be sent via private zip message on that Zoom screen, or you can do it visibly where we can all see it. We will also be using the standard Symphony green, yellow, red traffic light method, which can be called by any cast member or any chat member at any time. If a safety tool is activated, no judgment is passed, no questions are asked. And with that, guys, let's head into the finale of Lights, Camera, Action, written and run by your friend Nate for public access. Nate, I hand you the story and the stream. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. The veil is weak in Deep Lake. You figured that out. You determined that. And old timers will tell you that. They get too deep into their cups. It's always been that way in Deep Lake. Seeing people you shouldn't see, shouldn't be there. Old friends dead, coming back to visit. Strangers visiting and know things that they shouldn't unless they was old friends. The veil is weak. And none of these old timers know when they started saying that. Why they started saying it, why their kids and grandkids start saying it eventually when they stay too long in Deep Lake. No one knows what the veil is hiding. No one knows what it keeps in shadows, what it's separating. And folks in town, they don't want to speculate about that. You'll hear the veil is weak. Something happened, something strange, something weird. But you're sitting in the coffee club, they're not going into what that is and what that means. Because talking about it, giving it attention, old timers also know that's what it wants. So it's us and them. It's a tale as old as time. Haunts every generation in Deep Lake. It's like a restless comet craving your attention, repeating until it's heard the veil is weak. It's been a busy couple days for you. Megan, Jordan, Crystal, You decide to pass your time in the production RV, that Airstream trailer, waiting until the Odyssey tape will let you watch it.
Mm.
The wind's blowing over the top of that protected basin still. It's moaning, it's whispering. But your stifling heat this time is cut by the AC that's running. Because you did pull the cord and start that generator out back. And so you get out of those upper 90s into a much more reasonable upper 70s. Or, if you prefer, about 22 degrees Celsius. And eventually that blue screen and that blinking white channel indicator that stops. And the mechanism in the VHS machine starts working. And Crystal, it still makes no sense. Why? That's not how technology works, but you can't deny it. It keeps on doing it. And this time the tape pops immediately. It cuts in that VHS sort of static fuzz and then cuts to a scene already in progress. And there's a gentleman, silver hair parted on the right with that grease that they used to use. And the lines are very, very stark. And he's sitting in a red leather wingback chair. It's given PBS Masterpiece Theater vibes. And he says, "Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chats with Phineas Waite." And then he's cut off in the middle. And that static cuts across the screen. And there's a second or two of nothing on the little VHS TV combo that you're watching in that Airstream trailer. The screen fills with blackness. And then you see some shapes moving in that blackness. And you realize whatever's being recorded, whatever's being played back to you, it's night. And whatever you're seeing is being shot with equipment not up to the task. There's no lighting. There's no nighttime shot production. And there's vague shadows, and the camera is panning jerkily, and you can't make out any details until it's set down on the ground. And as soon as the camera sets down on the ground, you get two images. One of a town off to the right. And on the left of the image, a row of feet. And you realize wherever this camera's been set down, it's on the roof somewhere. It's on the edge of a roof. And you can see to your right a sign illuminated, and that's pulling focus on that camera in and out. But the camera is actually trying to focus on this row of feet, and you see dress shoes. You see the bottom of tuxedo pants and suit pants. You see high heels. You see legs and stockings, and you see the bottom of evening gowns. It's formal attire. And then onto the right, the camera pulls focus again. And now you can see a sign illuminated, and just the edges of that sign. It says La Fresse off the top, engraved in the stone or the granite of the sign. And then in the actual sign itself, plastic letters, backlit, Ungras, Bra, second line. It's a high school. And these are teenagers or seniors because they start talking, and now the audio picks up and they're talking in unison. And they start reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. And they step off the edge all together, and they're gone. And there's no sound. And the camera shows that screen for another 15 seconds or so. Then it cuts again, and the static shows across the screen in that wave, bottom left to upper right. And now we move into what you expected to see. Because you see the logo of BLAM, BLAM exclamation point. Because you are watching BLAM 03, everybody BLAM, a favorite TV Odyssey children's show. And these letters are big, centered in the screen, They are 4 different colors. They're blue, they're red, they're yellow, they're green. The exclamation point is comically oversized. And then as the camera pans back and pulls back, you can see that they're physical letters and they're attached to a wall in a cavernous space that has been painted black. And there's curtains around the space that are also black. And you see the Blammers, who you may or may not recognize, because this is a kids show, and the kids, the Blammers, every episode are there to talk about their favorite topics: science, literature, adventure, whatever it might be. And so this episode, each of the Blammers are introducing themselves. There's Bobby, there's Lisa, there's Amber, there's Marie, and last, certainly not least, there's Hester. And as each child says their name and strikes a pose in that, Electric Avenue style that we all grew up with, possibly something is off about one of the kids. Something is always off about Hester. And any of you, what's off about Hester in today's episode of Blam?
I think the kids, not Hester, it's one of those kids. The kids are always like so full of life. Like it's so engaging. They're always over the top. Yes, it's very exaggerated, but not Hester. Hester is like pale, sullen, almost sad. Hester looks like she's been crying. And just everyone else is like, popping onto the screen and she's just kind of standing there staring at the ground when it's time to introduce Hester.
And all the kids, the 4 Blammers, they're all in costume. You can see that they've gone to wardrobe. Hester's in an old nightdress. It's actually got a little bit of a stain. There's no colors on it. It's maybe dirty. Maybe even Hester slept in it. And her pale face, her stringy hair, she's blotchy from the crying that she was doing. I'm going to ask Megan, as the intro stops, all the kids strike their pose, except for Hester, who's a little bit off. And then we move into the main segment. And it does that wavy line thing where, the screen goes into waves and then it clears back up. And now we're still in the exact same set. And the kids just moved real fast while that transition was happening.
Yeah, they did.
There's one place. And they all ran. And it's time for Blam Talk, which the Blammers discuss an audience question. And you don't hear the audience question, but they ask, and they all wait, staring directly into the camera for 6-7 uncomfortable seconds. And then, outstanding. Today's question, and this is Bobby, are you ready for Blamorama? And Blamorama is something apparently everyone knows about and everyone's excited for, because Megan, what about the cast's response tells you they're dreading Blamorama?
9 out of 10 times, we know this now as adults. 9 out of 10 times when a child is on any type of professional set, they have a handler of some sort, either a parent or a guardian or an agent or some type of proxy, some type of guardian ad litem, some type of attorney. Like, children are not left unaccompanied in any of these sets ever. There's always an authority figure that's advocating for them somewhere in the wings that you never see, that you never know about, that you don't even think about, because your attention is on the exuberance and the innocence and just the celebration of life that children get. But there is always a handler somewhere. And you can tell that these children are dreading this moment because they're making eye contact with whomever their handler is. And you can see those non-verbal pleads going back and forth into shadow, into mist, into the abyss, into the other side of the curtains, into the depths of the orchestra pit. They're looking at something with pleading eyes that are like, are you sure? Or at worst, please no. and whatever response they're getting back that's not being, articulated, it's not being shown, is like, oh no, you're going to sit through this one.
Make their eye contact, and they are pleading non-verbally, and they're trying, and it doesn't, as you said, work. And they kick into Blamorama, and one of the doors opens and bright light streams in because it's a door to the outside, and they all stream out, and the camera follows them. And Blamorama is a foot race, and they start running, and they're just running down a parking lot, and then they're running down a residential street, and then they're running down through a neighborhood, houses, and they're running. The camera keeps following them, which seems impossible because they're running and they're gasping almost immediately. A couple of them are start gasping, but they're running, and then you can see them. They're looking back in a flash of fear, and then they're looking forward, and they keep running, panting. And as the three of you are watching this in the trailer, the wind's picking up. And for the first time, you actually feel the wind buffeting the trailer a little bit. You've been in this protected basin, and you've heard the wind, but it hasn't really. But now you feel these gusts, and there's a little bit of vibration and shaking. And you can hear sand abrading the side of the aluminum Airstream trailer. And Crystal, you have a voice-activated recorder on you. It's one of your mini gadgets, and it keeps flipping on for a second or two, and then flipping off, and then it'll flip back on for a second or two. And you're watching this in silence, and the only noise there is the gasps and the pants from the kids as they're enjoying their Blamorama activity, which is running for their lives from something that's chasing them. But you keep on hearing your voice-activated recorder. It just goes on and off over in the corner.
Sorry, that's me making faces at my mouse not unmuting me. All right. Well, then I am going to go over to the corner and activate the voice recorder. Like, well, wait until the video's done so that we can hear to see if it's actually recording anything, if it's just being, silly.
What do you mean? Wait for which video? Wait for the Odyssey tape to be done?
Yeah.
Or wait?
If we're done watching the kids running for their lives, because I'm done with it. I don't know about y'all.
They keep running and running and running. It doesn't seem to be stopping. And then little Lisa just stops, pants, hits the ground, and rolls off the edge of the road and disappears.
Oof.
The camera keeps following the last. There's 4. So Bobby, Amber, Marie, and Hester. They're panting. And then Bobby's the next one to drop. And he just drops and falls almost face first directly into the pavement.
Oof.
And the camera just keeps going. And it passes right over him. No noise, no anything, but as if it's, you're sort of modern, Crystal. It's sort of like drone footage, which would be impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And keeps going. And eventually, yes, the foot race will end. So if you're not going to touch the voice-activated recorder till it ends, that race will end, and it'll do another transition with the lines. Jordan, which kid won Blamorama?
Was there one named Amber? That was Amber.
And Hester is second. Because the rest, Bobby, Lisa, Marie, they drop out. And then
Hester was too frail to win.
Hester and
That's
Amber,
the problem.
She's just like determined, a look on her face. And the look is less terrified, more resigned. She's got that very adult looking, gonna deal with this shit again.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's done this before, hasn't she?
It feels like it. Yeah.
I feel like Hester maybe never wins, and I get the feeling that Amber maybe sabotages. Like this, Hester was close. Hester was in second place. Amber did something, whether it was, we said she was still like in this kind of like nightgown, stepping on that to trip Hester up so that she could pass her. Towards the end, Amber sabotaged Hester's win.
That's what happens. So Hester finally does pull up ahead, and there's a twinge in your memory. Now, you don't remember these shows, but now you feel like you are, oh, this is it. And Amber sticks a foot out, sort of kicks a little bit as they're running neck and neck. Hester tumbles, falls, hits the ground hard. You know it's got to hurt. And studio audience laughter, canned laughter erupts as Amber runs another 10, 15 feet and then stops and puts her hands up in victory as if she just cut the tape. And as the studio audience laughter dies down, you can hear sniffling sobs and ouch, ouch, ouch from behind the camera. But we cut back and we're back in the studio. And the kids are in the chairs. You can see they're exhausted. And an announcer's voice comes out. Today's Blam game is hot potato. And the Blammers get up and they nod and seem resigned to their fate. And they circle up and they start passing a ball around. And there's a beeping noise.
Oh, God.
That starts going as they're passing the ball, and they're passing the ball in time to the beat. Beep, beep, beep. And it's shrill. It's digital or maybe mechanical sounding beep. And it starts to speed up. And as it speeds up, the kids speed up and they pass the ball as quickly as they can. And across their faces, they're growing visibly worried, anxious, then terrified. The beeping reaches a crescendo, then stops. And as it reaches that crescendo, it is that beep, 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 beep flatline noise that we've all heard from any number of TV programs. And then it stops in the silence. What happens to the Blammer who's holding the ball, and what happens to the Blammer who's holding the ball, Bridgett?
What?
I'm sorry, Megan.
Oh, no, I hate everything so much right now. Okay, these are the same kids again?
Oh, yeah, these are your Blam crew.
This is the Blam crew. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Bobby, Lisa, Amber, Marie, and certainly not least Hester.
So I think it has to be Bobby, right? Bobby is one who fell first in the race, wasn't he? Always seems like Bobby goes first, doesn't he? Let's stick with that. That feels gruesomely consistent. The flat line happens as Bobby has the ball. You hear the very beginning of him pleading, no, wait. And then the audio just completely darkens. And he's trying to release the ball. He's trying to drop it from his hands. He's trying to hand it off, but it feels like the ball is actually attached to his hand. He can't get rid of it. He can't roll it off. He can't shake it off. He's trying to hand it. He's trying to throw it. His hands are becoming one with this ball, but that doesn't make any sense, and that's not realistic, and things like that don't actually happen. But whatever is happening, he cannot release the ball. His eyes cut over to the left, they cut over to the right, and you can tell that something is coming, something is closing in on from the wings, and he just decides to run. And the second his first step, his right foot reaches out, and mind you, the ball is still stuck in his hand, the tape just blackens. That's something closes in on him.
And cut. This fun segment is over, and your last shot is there's no longer any discernible fingers and hand and almost forearms for Bobby as Bobby is falling forward. It's just being consumed or joining with this ball, and the ball is growing. It's bigger. And as he falls forward, you can hear him scream as the ball is being plunged towards his chest and touching his chest, and then cut. And the scene cuts and goes to darkness. And Crystal, your recorder is still going off and on. It's been doing this the whole time. And now we're in a segment, and it's in this transition, and there's like sort of almost elevator music playing. And but it's still your voice activated recorder is still clicking on and off during this non-voice part of the Odyssey tape.
Well, can I would like to check to see if it is recording anything. Whispers, names, anything.
About half the tape has been recorded on at this point, and you rewind back and it's silent when you rewind back, and when you press play, can't hear anything. The little integrated speaker is not playing anything. It's just science, just a hiss, tape hiss.
Okay, can I plug it into the system and see if
Uh-oh.
that I can turn it all the way up?
Uh-oh.
So you're going to, yeah, you plug. It's again a mobile production facility, and you obviously have the correct cord, the 3.5 millimeter cord or whatever that you'd use. Connect this in. You hook it up to the receiver. You press the button, whatever it is, aux 1, I'm going to say, on this Denon AVR receiver from 1998. And it's tape hiss, and you're turning it up and turning it up. And it's still, the hiss is just loud and it's filling. And it's hiss. And the emergency siren in Deep Lake goes off. It's the tornado siren. And you all jump as this siren fills the air with the noise of the tornado air raid. That's that emergency kind of siren. And then it immediately gets really quiet. And you can picture in your mind, the rotating horn slowly rotating. And it's very, very quiet. And when it first kicks on, it is so loud, it fills the entire trailer with that horn noise. And all of you clutch your ears, and it's almost vibrating and shaking. And then it slowly winds around, and now it's a normal, you're sort of out in the desert. You're not in and around Deep Lake. And the next time it's louder, but it's definitely not in any way that ear-shattering noise that you heard. It wings back, but you hear nothing on the tape.
Okay.
I think this would snap me out of I've been pretty like engrossed in this watching this video. And it would kind of snap me. Crystal, what's going on? What are you doing?
The recorder was just like randomly turning on and recording. But since we
What?
can't hear anything,
Mm,
maybe I have to like filter out other noises again?
No, but just because we're not hearing anything doesn't mean nothing's there. Do you remember it said don't record them? We thought that was like video, but that could be audio too. What if this is them, like from the other, like the shadow? It's the shadow people.
Maybe it says don't record them because if we record them, then we can trap them.
Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, the stuff we saw down in the cave and the crew being gone and all the shit that we've seen so far, I don't know. Maybe it could be a trick. It could be how they trap us, and then they're trying to get to us through the recording.
You're probably not wrong, but like I don't know how long we can stay in the airstream with the dust storm or whatever coming.
And I'm going to do what most Midwesterners do when there's a tornado warning. We go outside and we look at the sky to see if we can see a tornado. Kidding. I am going to go outside, though, because the wind has been pushing this trailer and this is activated. I do need to try to differentiate between whether this is just the world fucking with us or whether we're actually in imminent danger from an incoming storm. So I am going to, like, very quickly look out of the windows, and I'm going to step outside to just get an assessment of what we are looking like weather-wise. Like, do we need to find shelter?
Yeah. Is
Well-
it monsoon season?
Jordan, you tell me.
I don't know. What month is it?
We're May
June.
28th. 8th.
No, we're fine then.
It is not
No,
monsoon
June
season.
7th.
I
Sorry.
June
definitively
7th, yep.
say.
June 7th.
Getting closer. I think we're fine.
And Megan, you
Uh,
step outside. You look out.
Mm.
You don't
I'm gonna
see.
stop her
Oh.
because of the little girl. I'm gonna like grab her arm and be like, "The little girl's out there."
She, that was uh that was during the day, right? That was a different activity. That was a different situation.
No, because the night's so much better.
We need to make informed
don't know.
decisions on whether we stay here or whether we run.
Yeah, I mean, well, our only other option is cave, which we're probably gonna have to go there if we want to get everybody back.
What happened to our car? Do we have any car?
We pulled
The
it in
car's
close to the
there.
airstream. I do remember that much.
Yeah. So I mean, we could just get the fuck out of here for a little bit. Just saying, I don't want to go in the cave. We could go in the cave.
I'm gonna look Crystal dead in her face. It's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna go. I don't even believe it. It's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna get a temperature check on what we're working with. Because everything is gonna be okay, isn't it, Nate? Isn't that right, Nate? Everything's gonna be fine.
It's
I
gonna
step
be
outside.
okay. Everything's gonna be okay as you open the airstream
Don't
door, and
forget
it's
to
that
cover your mouth in a
flimsy.
dust storm.
It's that flimsy door, and it pulls against you a little bit with the wind. So but you're easily, you're ready for that, and you step outside. And do you close the door behind you, or do you keep the door open?
That's the safe thing to do. Would be to shut them in. I'm
Because
coming
as
right
soon as
back
you open
in.
the door, the wind is whipping up, and papers inside start to blow, and there's sand coming in. And so you close the door. Looking around, it is windy and sandy, and it's blowing. It's dark, so you can't quite see it, but it's not. It doesn't feel dangerous. It feels like you wouldn't want to be driving necessarily, or you definitely wouldn't want to be walking or outside. But this doesn't feel like some kind of find a handy underground cave somewhere to shelter in kind of situation. And you can hear more clearly the siren, the emergency siren, and it whips back around towards you again, and it gets a little bit louder, and then it comes back down, gets lower. And the tape inside the Airstream, suddenly that elevator music sort of warbles out, and it kicks into the very end of, well, maybe the middle, but it kicks into a bit of the Cheers theme song.
Oh, here we
So
go.
Jordan, you immediately, you hear it, and it's got the piano notes going, and it does a chorus where everybody has your name.
Nope.
And then it comes back up, and the Odyssey tape, the Blam show that you're watching, begins again. And Megan, you look over and you can see that the dome light is on in the car. And the car itself is already starting to get a fair little bit of sand covering it from this windstorm, and it's collecting up underneath the wipers and things like that. But someone left the dome light on.
I really hate storytelling experiences with Nate. I really do. So, I know damn well I didn't leave that dome light on. I'm too careful for that. That's our one escape out of here. No way I would even threaten to ruin our battery or compromise the car like that. So, I am going to look at this as an invitation and brace myself accordingly. So, I'm going to shelter the best I can. I'm just going to shuffle over to the vehicle, to the passenger side door.
And remember, it's only 10, 15 feet from, you pulled it in so close as you were comfortable. So it's not a long walk. It's probably why you can see it. Because as you step off the little tiny aluminum sort of porchette off this Airstream, it immediately, the wind starts blowing. You realize, oh, you were getting a little bit of protection. It's actually more blustery and blowy. And now it's loud as well. You can't hear really you don't hear the Cheers themes music start inside the Airstream. And you can see a shadow. There's someone sitting in your car.
Passenger seat or driver's seat?
Passenger seat.
So the wind is whipping. I'm trying to cover my mouth the best I can so I'm not inhaling a lot of this. And I'm going to just look into the passenger seat. And you said the overhead dome was like, can I see what it is, or is it just a shadow? Can I see who
Yeah,
it
you can
is?
see. Yeah, it looks very much like your brother Marcus.
Nope. Nope.
Marcus looks up at you, or the person who looks like Marcus, and sees you and waves and grins and then beckons you, oh, to come inside. Come seek shelter. Come be safe. Come get out of the storm. Megan, come be safe with me. And that smile is filled with staticky white dome light. And it wasn't the dome light that you saw. It's this light coming from this shadow of Marcus that's sitting in your car.
So I start to tremble. I start to shake. And I immediately go, nope. And I turn on my heels and I start marching the very small distance back to the Airstream. And I think I'm going to connect my boot connects with that porchette metal platform. And I look at the closed door and I look down and I think about the people that are inside of the Airstream. And I go, fuck it. I turn around and I march directly back to the vehicle. I fling open the driver's side door if I can, and I sit directly next to him.
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you. And Marcus leans in and arms go wide to give you a big brotherly hug.
Stiff, frozen, everything collapses. Everything is like breakneck tight. I don't move, I don't adjust, and I'm staring directly forward. I will tolerate
Exactly
this
right.
affection from this position.
Exactly right, because you are filled with the feeling of electricity coursing through your entire body. And you are stiff and you are tight and your jaws clenched and it's ice white hot, flame, cold, everything up and down your entire nervous system. And the final segment of this episode of Blam Labs is kicking off, Jordan and Crystal. And there's two kids. Bobby is nowhere to be seen. But there's two kids, Lisa and Amber, in lab coats.
Uh-oh.
And they are holding beakers. And the beakers are filled with some dark, sludgy liquid. And they bring their beakers to their lips. And they take a drink in unison. And you can see both their throats working and swallowing in unison as they, 1, 2, 3 swallows of this dark, sludgy liquid. And they set it down. And then Hester walks back into frame and she's holding an entire bin he, Hester's, they. Now that Hester is back in, you realize, I think at the beginning it was, long, straggly hair, pale, and you had an assumption, but now it's not clear. But Hester walks back into frame and they're holding a bin of labware. And it's got those trays and they've got beakers lined up inside and they are all overflowing with this dark, thick, sludgy liquid. And Hester sets it down in front of the kids and all three of them, the two in the lab coats and Hester, reach down and pick up one of the beakers and bring it back. And you can see now the two kids in the lab coats, as the camera pans over, their eyes are filling with tears. And then the camera keeps panning and it drifts to the side before abruptly cutting out. And for a second, you see the source of this liquid. Crystal, what's the source of this thick, sludgy, black liquid these kids are consuming in this final fun segment of Blam?
There seems to be a shadow figure in the corner, and whatever the figure is like casting its shadow like down onto the ground, they can actually like dip into that
Ugh.
shadow into the ground and get liquid out of it.
Love it. Yes. And as the camera cuts, as the screen hits black, and you all sort of see this shape and you see this sludge that is in the shadow, and the fourth kid, which would have been Marie, I think. And Marie is down, and Marie's actually like a dog lapping up the liquid in the shadow right
Nope.
off the floor. And her eyes are filling with tears as well. The camera cuts, and you look around at the sudden stillness and silence, and you realize Megan never came back. But you have a feeling that time has passed. And you check your watch, and it's been like 30 minutes since you were started processing and playing with that audio tape.
Okay. I'll probably like stop and like look around, like what just wait, how much time? Is that right? Uh, Jordan?
Yeah, what?
Megan's been gone a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she has?
Yeah, look at your watch.
I'll look at my watch. Oh, oh,
It's later than it should be.
she has. Do you think, um, uh, uh, we should go look for her?
Yeah. We should. I'm going to take some audio cables and tie them around each other so we can't like get separated from each other.
Okay, I was gonna suggest we hold hands, but that works too.
Let's hold hands. We can do that too. Miranda.
Do it anyways.
Let's do all the things.
Just
Tie our
tie it
shoelaces together too.
and hold hands.
Well, I figured your hands would be full of VHS tapes. So
Look, we'll just put this one here, and then I can hold this hand.
I'll just tie our pant loops together.
Oh my god.
Three-legged race.
The storm's still raging. Sirens stopped for Jordan and Crystal.
That's good.
And you open the door, and it's still dark out. There's no sign of Megan at all. And Megan, you open your eyes, and you're blinking because it's as your brother Marcus had clutched you and hugged you so tight, and he was so happy to be reunited and to have this moment and to truly be seen by you. He starts whispering something in your ear. He's getting closer, and it's way more physical contact than your brother would normally have ever done. And there's a moment in your head when you wonder, okay, so what about the real market? But then it cuts, and you are looking out. It feels like you are looking out a mirror. And things that are dark are light, and things that are light are dark. It's like a camera negative. And you are looking out into that cave that you were in before, but your perspective is off. You're looking towards the cave door. You're looking at that camera that's still set up, the piles of wire leading outside. You're looking from the far edge of that cave, and it's bright. It's filled with light. And you can see everything. It's almost washed out. And Jordan and Crystal, you can see almost like a puddle that has been dragged through the sand. And it's glistening. It's pearlescent. And it's thick. And it's black. And it's sludgy. And it's dragged from your car, which is just a couple of yards from the door, off in the direction of that cave.
All right, we're going in. Clutch your VHSs. We're going in.
Okay. I squeezed your hand tighter too.
So tied together, you're like the paranormal researcher in Poltergeist.
Hmm?
going through the closet
We
orifice.
discussed that, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That last time. We're gonna end
Yep.
up back in that fucking Airstream.
Yep.
Oh God.
But you're tied together and you've got your important gear and you are off, and that black sludge that's on the ground, you can see it. It's getting coated with the sand, and the sand that's
Yeah.
blowing, and the sand is sort of melting into it and becoming thicker, becoming part of the ground, part of Deep Lake, part of the desert in a fundamental way. And as you head in towards the cave entrance, it's pitch black. And the wind is blowing and the sand is blowing. And Megan, you can see someone approaching the cave entrance on the far side. It's like they're backlit by a spotlight. And the shadows are showing. So you can't see any features. But you could see a cable, like an umbilical, connecting the two of them as they are walking up towards the cave entrance.
What if the kids had to drink the sludge so they could see the things?
Like, so they could see, like, the shadows?
Yeah, like the
People?
other creatures. Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. There was a lot of weird
I know.
stuff on that. So, but maybe. I'm not drinking sludge though. I want to be clear on that. But we've already seen some of the things, so maybe we've already drank sludge and we didn't know because we didn't know it was sludge or it didn't look like sludge. Bridgett. I just start yelling for someone named Bridgett.
Start naming Bridgett. Like, who the fuck is Bridgett? We don't know. But it's
I
who she's
punched her in
calling
the
for.
arm. Who the hell is Bridgett?
Right. What is Bridgett? Is Bridgett the sludge? Is that the shadow?
Megan Bridgett Winters. I know that's your middle name.
Overlay, come back. Change your name in Zoom. I'm doing it now. You ain't got to throw that type of shade at me again, damn it. I'm doing it now.
I looked, it was one of those moments where I knew it wasn't right, but my brain just did it. And it's Bridgett.
That's been me
Megan.
since this stream started.
Megan, are you in the cave?
So Nate, before I even ask the question that we're all waiting to hear the response to, can I hear her? The question I need to ask before that, what is my mobility right now? Do I feel like I am standing around, walking around in this cave just from this perspective? Or do I feel like I'm the cave painting? Because that's bothering me.
Try to move?
Yes, for sure I do.
You move fine, Megan.
So I can move in and around the cave. I'm not in the wall. I'm not part of the wall.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, you try to
you go.
move towards that door entrance and you can't move that way.
Okay.
But you turn around and there's an entire vista behind you, an entire world behind you, and you can move freely.
Okay. Yep. I really hate gaming with Nate. Can I
And
hear
Megan,
the voice?
you can hear these whispers coming from these shapes. These two black, backlit, umbilically connected shapes that are coming. It's like they're shout whispering. You can't make out the words, but they're making some kind of noise. If they were closer, you might be able to understand them.
I don't know if I want them to be closer. I don't know if this is a threat. I don't know if this is aid. Although I do remember the same strategy that Crystal deployed the last time we were in this cave. Let's tie each other up with cables. So that might start going through my mind. You know what? This is a finale. Let's try random things and see what happens. Especially at the speed that you're going, because you are at breakneck speeds right now. So I am going to brace myself for the two figures that are coming towards me. And I am going to say out loud with a shaky voice, don't look at them. And then I'm going to look directly at them. And then I'm going to say out loud, don't pay attention to them. And I'm going to give them my whole devoted attention. And then I'm going to say out loud, don't record them. And I'm going to pull out my phone and take a photo.
I love it.
I don't.
I'm going to need you to make me a night move.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
As you, on wherever, whatever space that you occupy, you throw the rules back in the face of whatever it is that sets these rules. And I need you to tell me what you're afraid will happen if this doesn't work.
Oh, that's good. And you want that before the roll?
We got to set the stakes before you decide if you really want to roll this.
I don't remember exactly where we saw those rules articulated to us. I'm pretty sure I saw them scrawled onto the wall of the gas station. That gas station we stopped by right before we got here. But if I'm wrong, just overlay into where we actually saw those rules. And I just have this moment where I think, what if that wasn't an actual warning? What if it was the reverse? What if that is actually what we should be doing and, we're being played or manipulated? So what is the absolute worst thing that I think had happened in this situation? That I'm wrong. And that was absolutely a warning that I should have taken into consideration, which the worst thing that I think that could happen right now is the veil thins to the point that it snaps. Miranda feels real good about that answer too.
I like that. That's a great answer. And it's worse than that, Megan.
Fuck. Yeah, of course it is.
Because not only is that true, that you were wrong, that warning was a real warning. But if you are wrong, you will then also turn the key of the chromatic desert. And when you turn that key, you will no longer be perceived by other characters, which is sort of what is happening right now, but worse.
Yeah.
Megan, all memory of you is erased. It's like you never existed. You can continue to carry on your business in the space, in the world, in the place that you are right now. But your real brother, Marcus, will never have had that half-sister. And that interaction at the motor lodge, that young man will forever wonder about that vivid, realistic dream he woke up from. And he cannot remember, but it was great because he had a moment, a feeling of importance, but you will never have existed. Do you want to still roll those dice? $2d6 and add your reason because you are logically working this through.
Okay. I am so stressed out right now, I can't even get to my character sheet. Lash keys is what we're called. So I'm going to need help because I'm more stressed out than I thought. I'm on the wrong public access sheet. Can somebody tell me what my reason is?
It's a 1.
Okay. That's going to work out great for me. That's a 7.
On a 7 and 9, you do what you intended or you hold steady. There is a complication or cost. There is an enormous flash of black light. And you're blinded, Megan, by this light. In the exact same way that you remember once being blinded by the desert sun when you risked a glance up to take a peek at is it really that bright? Is it really that? And it was, and the after image lasted. There's an after image in your eyes as you recite this mantra and you take this picture. And for a moment, you wonder if your camera flash went off and if that was what caused this. But then you realize you can't move like you were able to move before. And Jordan and Crystal, as you step into this cave, did I say cage? That was
Yeah,
that was a
it's a little
Freudian
Freudian
slip.
slip
That's
there, Nate.
pretty
You
No,
hot.
they're
son of a
very
bitch.
close.
You
Very
son
close
of a
words.
bitch.
I'm sure it was just
We're
a little bit
sure.
of a verbal tick. There's nothing to worry about. As you step in, there's a flash of light, like a bolt of lightning that flashes across the sky or something, briefly illuminates the cave, and there's a new drawing
Oh
at the
God.
far end.
Is it someone we recognize or someone that we
it's
oddly
someone.
recognize, but we can't put our finger on who it
Oh
is?
God. Both are
Thank
terrible.
goodness it's someone you recognize because it was a 7 and not a 6.
Okay.
Ooh.
Megan's looking at you, and they are holding their phone up as if they're taking a picture, and there's stylized squiggly lines around the camera as if it's flashed. And in the picture, even though it's carved into the walls hundreds of years, maybe older, maybe thousands of years old, you can read the fear, the anxiety in Megan's face. And all of the pictures in that brief flash looked a little bit different. You get your flashlights out and you can see they're all different. The cave itself is completely changed. There's no more of these somewhat normal looking pictograms or Native American style art. None of that. That veil has dropped because the veil is thin at Deep Lake. And it's people that you sort of recognize and you sort of don't recognize, but feel like on the tip of your tongue, maybe. And there's a person in a luchador mask over on one side, written, drawn out. And there's the kids that you just saw on your Odyssey tape. And there's a camera crew sketched out.
Oh.
You can tell because one of them's holding a camera, another one has a decibel reader.
Crystal, what if I think Hester was maybe one of the shadow people and she got over here, she stayed.
Okay.
But I mean she's probably not here now because all the TV Odyssey stuff is gone and no one remembers it, and that's really fucking weird. But what if she in the tape, what if she was one of the shadow people? Look, these are all different, Crystal.
Yeah, but how are we going to get these people out of the wall?
That's a terrible question to ask out loud.
Yeah, I don't. My brain didn't go there, Crystal. I don't know if we have to get them out of the wall. Are you telling me that Megan's stuck in the wall right now? That's Megan and she's in the wall?
I like point at Megan.
The shadows are pointing at you, Megan. You can still see. I mean, it's harder to move. Maybe not impossible.
Ooh.
One of the shadows is hyperventilating. Is bent over heaving.
I'm just curious, and you're bent over heaving, do you lose one of the Odyssey tapes?
No, I'm clutching them.
No.
I can bend over. Look, here's the thing. I can bend over and have them in my hands.
She like puts them in her shirt.
Right.
I say, give me a second.
No tapes will
babies.
drop during the course of this stream.
My
Right.
babies.
Okay.
So what do we do? Do we just reach in and pull her out, or? Oh my god. If you stick your hand in that wall and it goes in and you
Jordan, have
What?
a seat. Have a seat.
Okay,
Sit
well,
down.
we're tied together, so
You can still
I
sit down.
sit down. The rope goes kind of taut.
I'm thinking. Give me a minute. Okay. So, we don't see Hester here, but there's the camera crew. There's Megan. There was the sludge, which was the sludge from the video. The other kids walked off that roof and disappeared. So I wonder if that's like another thin veil spot maybe they found. Okay, hold on. We got the whispers on the zip drive. Wait, what did Simon's notes say?
Are you talking about the note that said, is it the "we want what you have" one, or the one that was Science Note said he was there again?
He was there again. Okay. I'm thinking out loud, Jordan. Hold on.
Okay.
I don't wanna lose Megan, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna stand here and watch her.
Mhm.
Okay. It's here again. Okay. Got the phone with all the paranoid texts. How did the camera crew get in?
What kind of stone is this, Nate?
It is a red rock. I don't know if there's a scientific term for this, but it is
Mhm. Okay. So it's not
the
like
red desert.
sandstone. It's not like sandstone that we could easily draw something in. Um
You can try.
yeah, well, okay. Hear me out, Jordan, since we're just spitballing and things. One, if we don't want Megan to get lost, maybe we draw a box around her. Two, and then she's in the box and she can't leave the box. Two, maybe we just draw a door. Maybe we just draw a door on the wall.
What, like Beetlejuice?
Yes, like Beetlejuice.
Do you have chalk?
No.
Okay.
But we could just scratch one in. Like we get another rock. I mean, you've scratched a rock with another rock before. If depending on how hard this rock is and what it's made of, we can just draw one.
Are there
That's-
even any rocks on the floor? Well, you're
Sure,
it's a
down there.
desert.
Look.
All I have on me is my skateboard and my Razor flip phone that are always with me from my corner of the house.
That are always with me.
You're in a cave in the desert. I am absolutely positive you can find some rocks.
Rocks.
And
Yeah.
a tiny little hand slips into your left hand, Megan. And you hear a voice, and the voice says, quiet little child voice, we want what they have, right? We want what they have instead.
I'm going to squeeze onto that hand. First, with almost like that reaffirming comfort. Hey, I feel you. You feel me. We are connected. And then I'm going to squeeze to the point that that wrist is going to snap if it tries to leave my grip. And then I'm going to look down to see what's actually there.
So you start to try and squeeze, and it's like frozen silly putty trying to move your hands.
Why that description, Nate? Goddamn.
And it's not moving, and it's not giving, and then it's and you can feel it. And it's not the hand that you're squeezing, it's your flesh, your body that's so difficult to move. But you try with all, and you are able to apply more pressure. And there's a quiet giggle. And the voice says, yeah, you're learning. It's not as fun over here, though. But you'll get it. And Crystal or Jordan, are either of you looking at the wall while you are doing your...
Oh, I don't think my eyes have been off the wall.
Yeah, I said I was
I think it's a
watching her.
lot of like reaching around me to look for a rock, but I'm kind of, it's like one of those looking at it and reaching down and grabbing for things. Yeah.
Well, just like an angry parent, you need to hold that flashlight steady because you must be moving it or something, because it's like the drawing is like shifting and moving just a little bit. Like there's a shadow. It doesn't make any sense, but it's like it's moving because you can see some motion as Megan is clutching down, and you slowly, Megan, are able to move. And your intent is just to look down. You're able to move your head just a little bit and then move your eyes in your skull just a little bit. And you can see dark, black, lanky hair covering a face. But man, does that look like Hester. Just almost in a negative opposite than what you saw in that Blam tape. And Crystal, Jordan, you can both see it's like there's a campfire suddenly that is lighting up the cave, not this battery operated flashlight, because a couple of those pictures on the wall, they look like they're just barely shifting and moving in front of your eyes.
Oh God, everything is so terrible.
Oh, I hate this.
I do
Okay.
too.
We gotta work fast, Crystal. So door, I guess, or we're going with that plan to try, or
Yeah,
what do you
I
got?
think
Okay.
that's the best one so far.
Okay.
Let's make me a night move, Jordan.
Oh, great.
What do you think will happen if you fail?
Okay, so I think that if I fail, the door works. But and look, no matter what, Nate, it works. But the problem is that the door works. So if I pass, it works in a good way. If I fail, it works in a horrible way. And we let something in that we weren't expecting. And in my brain, sometimes it's one of these manifestation things. So in my brain, I'm like picturing, like, we've been through a lot tonight, like what could have drug Megan into the wall, what was chasing those kids. These are all things that are flashing through my brain as I'm drawing this door to try to pull Megan out. But I might pull the wrong thing out. I don't know where this door is actually going to lead or where it's going to go. Maybe I will end up in it, but maybe something horrible is going to come out of it, seep out into our world.
I love that. I love that because you've been besieged by tricksters and shadows that play off and show you the wrong thing. So yes,
Shadow,
I
it
love
could be
that.
Shadow Megan. Oh no.
Oh,
Yep.
that would be delicious.
Oh,
The inversion of Megan.
Yes, Shadow Megan. Megan,
Versus-
weren't you right-handed before?
Right.
What's with this goatee, Megan? I
What
don't
is
understand.
evil and a monocle? You have
You're
a monocle
changing.
But I think also it's worse in that, Jordan, as you are carving through what you think is this sort of tough red rock, if it fails, a piece of that red rock will actually crumble out of the wall. And I will ask you to roll 1d6 to tell me which piece of the Megan carving is destroyed.
no.
Yes.
Oh no. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll get Megan back minus like
a
I
leg
don't know.
or a
Or
toe. It could be a toe.
head, a face,
Yeah,
A face.
a soul.
if a person is a starfish,
Mm-hmm.
at the top is a 1 is the head. And then
Okay.
all the way 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6 would be in the middle there. That would be your
Oh, Kung Pao.
1d6.
You
Okay.
just get her legs and her head back. That's nice. And her arms, no torso.
All right. And what am I rolling? Composure reason?
You are
Feels
going
good.
to roll, man. So you're trying to do some magic here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're going to roll sensitivity.
You son of a bitch.
Ooh,
Okay.
disrespect.
That's -1 for me. So I rolled a 4.
Oh, this is great.
-1 is 3.
Good. Let's carve Megan up. Let's see how this goes for everybody.
Let
Oh,
us
Miranda.
see how this goes. Success. You're carving. Crystal, you're watching as Jordan is carving this door, and as they are getting closer to combining these edges, and it's not easy, but it sure doesn't seem as hard as it should be to carve into stone. She's just trucking along. And as she gets closer to connecting that edge, you can see almost a light that's starting to glow from this doorway line. And then she connects those two lines and it flashes like that brief flash of lightning. And Megan, you're again blinded by a flash of darkness. And Jordan, go ahead and roll me 1d6 as you connect and that flash goes off. And then there's a sharp crack and a piece of the door cracks and a chunk falls out from inside. And that chunk is located at the carvings.
Oh, tell me that's a 6. Yes.
That's your heart.
Eat your heart out, Crystal.
heart.
Jesus. And
Yep.
oh, Jordan.
And Megan falls out of the door. And she's clutching the end of a hand that's severed cleanly where that door was. And she lands down on the ground and she does not move.
I immediately grab Megan and start shaking her. I pull her away from the door and I start shaking her. Like, wake up, Megan. Megan, look, I saw poltergeist. You just have to wake up a little bit.
And you roll Megan over and the entirety of her chest cavity is just gone. Unless you'd like to turn a key.
I mean, I've always wanted to Kung Pao someone in a game, so I...
Then we leave it as
No,
is.
I will turn a key.
Oh, babe, if you're doing it for my benefit, go where the story leads you. Because I am having a blast watching this shit.
Oh, no, I'll turn a key because this would be incredibly traumatizing for Jordan to have this idea, fully believe in it, and then rip Megan out heartless. And so I will happily turn a key for Megan.
And instead, when you turn Megan over for a second, you feel like her entire I ripped her heart out. I brought her back without a heart. But that hand that was clutching another hand, now you see that it is severed cleanly at the forearm. And Megan, as you blink, there's a burning pain that suddenly ceases as that hand dissolves into a shadow. And Crystal, you see this shadowy, just sludge, this black liquid melt out. And there's a clean line on Megan's left forearm. She no longer has a left hand. It's as if there was never a hand there. It's just smooth skin and there's a puddle of black.
Yeah, no, Crystal just standing there, silent, just looking like.
Does Megan come to?
Yes.
Or do I need to start performing mouth to mouth?
Oh,
You would
no,
like that.
Megan does not come to unless prop. No.
I sing Staying Alive and I perform CPR.
Let us all just think of that scene from The Thing for a second, but then we won't just move on. Because as Megan's eyes open and blink, the shadows start pouring out of the doorway that you carved into the veil, Jordan.
No.
And you
Crystal,
hear
hurry.
laughs and you hear cheers and you hear the laughter of kids as they run past you.
We gotta get out of this fucking cave, Crystal. Help me grab Megan and start to try to pull Megan up. We have to get to the Airstream or what?
Wait, what if we put the door back together and shut it? Will it suck them back in?
I don't know. I think they might be out now.
We can't just leave them out.
What are we gonna do? Run around with a net to trap them and put them back in?
We gotta find a way to fix this.
What are the kids doing
I know
again?
we do.
They are
They're
fleeing.
just running?
They're running out of the door. And I feel like now you need to figure out how can you repair the veil? and stop the shadows from crossing over into Deep Lake. Because, man, did you open up your
Yes.
mystery.
Crack that baby wide open.
It's much more dynamic a situation than it was when you
You ain't
first
lied about
solved
that
that
one, honey.
problem.
The well. Okay, Nate, I just want to make sure I have the visual in my head right now. So what we're seeing are the shadowy, inky silhouettes of all the kids, Maria, Bobby, Hester, that are all breakneck running, very similar to they were in the tape.
And
Who's it?
others.
And others. Who's
And
in the lead right
others.
now?
You know who's in the lead?
Okay.
Who won the race?
Amber.
Amber, but she cheated.
But only because she tricked Hester.
And Hester constantly always comes in second place.
Mm-hmm.
Hester swipes at Amber, but she's missing part of her right arm, and it just flies through the air.
I'm gonna yell over my shoulder. Hester, she's gonna trip you as I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. I'm going to play the audio from the zip drive
Ooh, this is a good time for it. Yep.
while I'm putting the door back together, because you said a chunk fell out.
Mm-hmm.
And tell Jordan to put a new no.
So are we then technically answering our second question?
I feel like that's what we're actually doing right now. I could be wrong, but that's what it feels like mechanically.
Yeah, but we got to figure out how to get the crew out, the camera crew. So do
And
we
let me
open
set it up
another?
this way. The kids run out.
Yeah.
A couple other shadows run out. You hear a sound of approaching thunder coming from this doorway. And through that doorway, there's flashes of black and white light. And the flashes of white light, they make sense to your brain. The flashes of black light, they don't make sense to anyone other than Megan, who saw them. But there is more coming. There is something coming. And so if you need to do something to prevent the massive breach from exploding open.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
First idea, just throwing out there, half in character, half out of character. We were successfully able to open the door from the outside. Jordan was able to do that.
Right.
And I've been on the inside. There has to be a way we can in tandem that. If someone is shutting it from the outside and I'm pulling it closed from the inside, there has to be a way that we can straddle that somehow.
Mm-hmm. Could we just destroy the door? Or perhaps draw a stop sign?
Draw a stop sign.
Those are options. Or we just get rid of the door. Fuck this door. We have to get rid of the door. No door, no things come through.
I love that, other than the fact that, like, I got electrocuted into the whatever the other side of the veil is.
I just meant temporarily.
Oh, temporarily to stop whatever the big thing is.
This is my temporarily. Whatever is coming at us, is that we get rid of the door right now, and then we go and brainstorm how we can utilize the clues that we have in order to be able to solve it a bit broader. How do we close the veil?
That might work. Can you
I get it.
Wait.
So maybe at the beginning of that tape we just watched, you know how those high school kids like walked off the edge of a roof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What if we make a drop off at the bottom of this door? Like, so as they're running out, they're going back in.
I'm just picturing Wile E. Coyote in the road.
Right.
Yes, I'm all for Wile E. Coyoteing this.
I absolutely really like that. Okay. I like that a lot. Are we all on the same page that Black Ichor lets you straddle the veil, or at least gives you power in both areas at the same time? Is that what you guys kind of supposed before?
That's what I thought, because those kids are obviously shadow kids, but we were able to see them on the Odyssey tapes. And they were obviously on TV,
Mm-hmm.
but you
Okay.
can't record them. So they would have to be some hybrid.
Something hybrid. Okay. Okay. I like Tiffany's idea, and Miranda sounds like she's behind it too. So we're gonna try to do some drop on the inside of this door where something falls through as a deterrent, as a barrier, as something. I feel like one of us needs to take a face full of this liquid.
I'll do
We
it.
have some of the we have the liquid.
Yeah,
'cause
from when she was
bunch of
drug in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My transition left like
I
of that.
Yeah, I mean, it means I'll be munching sand too, but that's fine.
But that might be able to give you some type of control over the shadows, a way to call them back, a way to manipulate the race, whatever. I feel like somebody needs to eat this. Bleh.
I'll do it.
So,
I'll do it.
as your storyteller, let me
I'm
let me
worried.
redirect a little bit to the mystery answering mechanic. I like where this is going. I love where this is going. But there's definitely in public access a answer the mystery with
Yeah.
a dice roll and the clues to then do the action.
Okay.
You are, I think, very much in the middle of the action, and the action is like, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? These are all the strategies and plans to do it. We still need to validate in some way, shape, or form that these actions will work.
Yeah.
And
Well,
in the reverse way, those actions will work when you answer the mystery with
mhm.
the way that, so you can make that
That's-
happen. You could game it, but that's,
Yep. Okay.
you need to use your clues, answer the how can we repair the veil and stop, and then
Okay.
do the roll.
Okay.
Can we? Well, that was my question too, because when we started this, I thought for some reason I thought we could only answer questions during the day.
Okay.
Okay, because so that's their question that we have to answer: is how can we repair the veil and stop the shadows from crossing over
Right.
into Deep Lake?
And
That's the
technically,
question.
rules, we are in the day because you watch the Odyssey tape and it moves into the day. But in terms of the story we're telling, it needed to be night. It
Gotcha.
still
Okay.
needed to be night.
It still need to be night.
Okay.
So quick
So-
audit, guys. The question we're answering is how do we stop the thinning of the veil right now and bring the crew back? Can we get a quick, especially
Well,
for the
it
audience?
It is not bring the crew back. The
not.
question we have to answer is how can you repair the veil and stop the shadows from crossing over?
And
into
stop the
Deep
shadows from crossing over. Great.
Mhm.
Okay. So for the audience who's watching or might have been on the delay too, can we run through our current clues as an audit?
Yes. So our current
Okay.
clues are crew cell phone in room 14.
Yep.
That was newer than Crystal's. These
I'm
are
gonna
the
say
available
from the future.
clues. From the future.
That is newer than Crystal's, but let's amp this up. This cell phone is
from the
from the
future.
future.
It's from the future.
Crew
Okay.
cell phone from the future. Mysterious zip drive containing distorted, unexplained audio files.
Yep.
What we want what you have, we hate what we have, we want what you have instead.
Yep.
The shooting calendar about the caves that said he was there again, and then we have another clue from the audience or from the Odyssey tape, which it sounds like we're all on the same page as this Icker being that clue.
Yeah, so create that clue more
Black
for
Icker.
me. The black ichor
Black Icker. Yes.
that we saw in the Odyssey tape exists
Here.
in here, and it what?
Well, and it would appear to be what the shadow people are made of because we pulled the arm out and it what?
And it would make it so that you can see them, but not have to be on the other side.
And that I love that because in the Odyssey tape, you literally saw the shadow thing.
We saw it.
And the
yeah.
shadow of the
Yes.
shadow thing was the Icker.
Yep.
When Megan came through, remember both Hester's arm melted, but Megan's arm
Its arm
also
melted.
Melted as well
Yeah.
too. So
Not
that
necessarily just the shadow people.
it affects both
Well,
realms.
at that, yes, and that was my thought too. Is this whatever this Icker is it will make you of both sides, and technically Megan was of both sides because Megan was in there.
Correct. It was the straddle. And that would make sense because at the point that I transitioned into the shadow realm, it left that Icker. When I came back, it was so that's okay.
Well, and it was like I was able to pull most of you back, but I couldn't quite pull all of you
All
back,
of
and
me
that's
back.
why your hand dissolved because you were still, I was pulling you back into that real world, but the shadow part of you
Yep.
had to stay.
Okay. Okay.
I like it. So maybe we can wrap that up into the black ichor is a fundamental piece of matter that bridges two worlds.
Simultaneously. Correct. Yep.
And I'm framing it like that because the solution that you're pulling together is using that black that black ichor
Yeah.
to draw out or do a Wile E. Coyote thing. So if you make it a fundamental piece of matter that does the bridging, then it sort of makes sense
It
that
does.
you can do that. So,
But
all right.
we need to utilize at least 1 up to 4 more clues.
Well, and then we can use the zip drive because the zip drive has a noise that attracts them back to the door.
Ooh, because
Oh,
the
the
camera
noise
crew
that
was
calls
using this
them.
to bring everything out, then
calls
it would make
them.
sense. They've been summoning the things to the surface. That's
Right,
perfect.
that was Simon that knew about it but didn't tell anybody. So
Flawless.
then he would have this zip drive.
Flawless. It's like a dog whistle. It's a signal that crosses dimensions. It actually pulls whatever it is back to the. That's flawless. Sold.
We're back to Poltergeist. This is a come into the light, children.
That is perfect. Okay, we've got the ichor involved. We've got the signal involved. Okay.
We've got the ichor and the zip drive. So we have the we want, we have, we hate, we have, we want, we haven't said the he was there again and the crew cell phone left.
Okay. The cell phone was tossed before Simon was fully sucked in. Right? Because we determined it was Simon's cell phone because he was the one sending the paranoid texts from beyond the veil.
Yes. But, okay. So, now, Nate says it's from the future, but it's only from the future because we don't recognize it as modern technology.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't fucking mean it's not from the right now, but just from somewhere else. So it could be, and like, it could be Shadow Realm phone that has been brought over.
It
Like, if
absolutely
the
could
crew
be
was
Shadow Realm
going
phone.
back and forth, if the crew is going back and forth, so it looks futuristic. It seems like it's from the future, but it's just from somewhere else.
Sold.
Where they
I
have
absolutely love
different
that.
technology, they have different technology,
Okay.
all of those things.
Crystal, you've already seen other technology in Deep Lake that also doesn't seem to make any sense and operates in ways that don't seem to make sense. Way back in our very first adventure together, those
Screaming
boxes.
box.
Mm-hmm. So does that help us, knowing like that the cell phone is from the other side? Can we incorporate that in any way? Could we use the cell phone to amplify whatever this audio file is?
Ooh,
So
we
what we
played
have
the-
to
Oh, go ahead.
do is take the cell phone, the screaming box that we know is from the other side because it also is weird and I don't recognize it, and we have to put it back in the doorway. We have to give it all back before we
Okay.
shut the door.
The
I
stuff
love
that's
that.
been taken out, we have to give back.
So
And
that
I think
includes that cell phone.
What we want, what you have, we hate what we have, we want what you have instead is literally just pure motive for what these shadow creatures want. Like the things that they don't have the freedom of choice. They keep getting stuck in these torturous loops where they keep losing the same games and then they factory reset into the same experience again and again. They don't have the freedom of movement. One of the things that Megan discovered very quickly is like it took everything for her just to look down and see something holding her hand, and the voice said like, yeah, it sucks over here, does it? That's why we want what they have. They actually have a choice. They actually have freedom of movement, which is something that they want. So it's just your sheer motive, and that's something that we have to deprive them of.
Oh, but now I feel bad.
I do too, and let's make it hurt.
But now maybe they just. But now maybe we could just all live together in peace and harmony.
All right, I'm knocking Jordan out and we're doing this.
They just need to lead a shadow people uprising. We need to free them from the chains of their oppressors.
No, we're gonna throw them right back into the grinder. They can't have what we have.
Okay.
Okay, so just to recap, guys, we understand their motive. We're incorporating that into one of the clues. The black ichor, we have decided, can coexist in two different worlds simultaneously. It kind of gives us some wiggle room to distort or to exist in both of these realities
And
simultaneously.
Crystal's gonna drink it.
And Crystal's going to be the one that's going to take some of this to the face. We are tying in the black signal boxes with the cell phone that's from that realm to activate a signal that brings everything that has escaped back in, and to
No,
bring
that's
everything
the zip drive.
and the zip drive to bring everything that has escaped back in, and to frantically draw whatever's trying to come out even faster so it can all go into this pit trap.
So that gives us 4. I mean, if we do the he was there again from Simon's, like, I think in our brains we know that the cave is kind of the focal point of all of this bleed out. Like, this is where it's open.
Yeah.
And the shooting calendar and Simon's note, he was there again, I think just reinforces that whatever the fuck we need to do, it's in this cave.
It's in this cave. I like that. I like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
I like it. That specific clue, if you want to use it, I would love a guess or a creation of who the he is.
I've played this game before, so I really honestly want the he to be the big man, but that's me.
I think it's his grandfather that he was,
Yeah.
that told him about all of this to begin with, that had the drawing that he
That was
hasn't
Lucas
seen.
Grant's grandfather.
was it?
So it could be. It could
But
be
it could
Lucas
still be
Grant's
him,
great grandfather. Yes. But
Yeah.
just to be clear, that wasn't Simon's
Oh,
great grandfather. That was Lucas's great grandfather and his
Lucas's.
secret.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, and his secret
So-
to get into all this. Yeah.
So maybe
I like that.
Simon figured out some of the secret and started seeing this great grandfather, which is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that is what started tipping in Simon on to something impossible is happening here. And then, that he was here again. Maybe he saw the drawing of the great grandfather show up in the cave. Oh, he's there again. Which would helpfully lead us to why these drawings shifted and changes so
Shifted and
dramatically
changed.
tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. So it was that guy. It was the great grandfather. Nice.
So mechanically, did we resolve what we needed to resolve, Nate?
So mechanically, you have answered a question.
Okay.
With
Roll.
with an idea of how it works out.
Okay.
And you've put clues to it, and now you have to roll.
Okay.
You have to roll to make it true. And one of you gets to roll. And it's the same tiered, 7 to 9. It's correct with a complication. 10 plus is just clean and free. That is now the reality. And if you miss, it's a miss.
Are we
So
making me roll again?
figure out who's going to roll.
It's
And then
2d6 plus 1.
And then figure out what attributes you want to use with this.
I'm great with Tiffany rolling again.
Me too.
All right.
No
Especially because-
pressure.
Oh,
No
yeah.
pressure.
The sexy thing is we can't read your face, which makes it even worse.
Mm-hmm. And as far as what we're rolling with, I mean, it's a guess, so reason makes sense. Presence, if it's like a magical thing, but it feels reasonable.
Reason. Yeah.
I like reason for this too. Yeah.
Good.
Hey,
Me
Nate, I'm
too.
just going to add on as we continue to back into the don't look at them, don't record them, don't pay attention to them. The second this plan activates, if we allegedly try to get this off, I'm going to make sure that camera on a tripod is filming that door. So we can, again, break all 3 of those rules one more time. Oh, maybe that's what the crew was trying to do too.
Okay. Do we want to know what I rolled?
Yes.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. So on a 7 to 9, your answer is correct, technically. There's an unwelcome complication. Or pursuing the opportunity will be more dangerous. In terms of the mechanics, what I'm going to say is You get it right, and you put together all of these logical suppositions to come up with this plan, but you realize a couple things. One, it's going to take all of you consuming this ichor, and then all of you working together to try and counter this delight that these shadow creatures have, and finally breaking through and being in our world. This is all they've ever wanted for, you have no idea, possibly for eternity. And so it's going to take a lot. And two, I'll tell you after.
Okay.
So now you've answered this and you can pursue it.
Okay.
Yep.
We know what we have to do.
Yep.
So lay out for me, for us, how you pursue this. Restate basically what's this plan to attract, get, close the door, all that stuff. Just one more clean time.
We're gonna have to go run and get the zip drive and the cell phone. Like, get everything together.
I will go and collect the liquid that all three of us have to now consume.
Mm-hmm.
And wait for everyone to meet me back in the cave with that. So that sandy, piled over liquid that I left when I was dragged through, I'm going to collect enough of that for the three of us to eat. Swallow.
And that has drained heavily into the sand, so you scrape up, but it's almost it's not a liquid anymore. It is a grainy
Sludgy
gel.
Gel situation. Yeah.
The
Yum.
part that used to be your arm, and also, is easier to gather, but also you're doing this with one arm.
With one
And
arm.
so
yeah.
there's a lot of adjustment going on there. You don't have the pain. You don't have you just never had this arm. It just never existed. You don't have any memory of ever having it. You have memory of playing sports. Megan's very active. You have memories of doing all that, but you don't have memories of doing it without your
an arm.
left hand. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of competing sort of thoughts, emotions, feelings around all that. But yes, so you gather all of that up. Crystal, you're collecting the machinery of this operation?
Yeah, and like setting up my laptop so that we can plug the zip drive in, and yeah. Get
Maybe
all that
carrying
set
over
up.
the speakers and the
Mhm.
audio visual AV setup from the
Yeah.
trailer, getting the power, making sure the generators are running. And Jordan, what's your activity in this
I'm
big
setting
mess?
up our Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner feedback loop.
You're doing more art.
More art. So
More
that
art.
it becomes like a spilling, like they can't get out. Because that's how I'm kind of imagining this hole, is like it's a feedback loop. So when they try to get out into our world, it just continues to go back. Yeah. Incredibly frustrating for them.
I love it. You spend a couple hours doing all of this. Mostly Jordan's work takes a little more time because there's a little bit more meticulous detail that needs to be done here. Crystal, you have a lot of moving and stuff and plugging things in, but the work is pedestrian. I think Megan is slowed down by all of the weight of her new one-armed. Okay, what does this change for me? Can I still drive? Oh yeah, I can still.
Can I
I
pull
could
the
even
car
drive
in and use it as a headlight so we have illumination? Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
but
what
how
is
do
this?
I? Yeah.
A lot of that. All of you give me a quick day move roll. And it's probably like all of you are pretty much doing vitality. Maybe Crystal's doing reason.
6.
8.
6,
I'm going to say Crystal's the only one that actually succeeds because all of you are loaded up with conditions as well.
Ooh, that's
And
a
those,
good point.
although, wait a minute, Megan.
Oh,
No, Jordan, you have. No, someone.
I do.
Megan
I've-
has feeling good. Did you use that already?
I have not. May I use it?
Okay, so
Yeah, you get a bonus die.
yeah, so you get a bonus die. Paranoid, overheated. Everyone else, I'm looking at your character sheets, assuming they're correct. All of you are loaded up with 3 conditions each.
That's great.
Right. So did your bonus die up
That's just
your...
rolling another d6 and taking the highest.
Mhm. Yeah.
It took me to a 7.
All right. It is sweaty. It is hot. You're exhausted. You were up all night. Megan, you don't know if you were up all night. You're exhausted too. You have a hard time picturing what your night actually was. So I'll say the preparations might not be as solid as you would want when you are pursuing a paranormal, supernatural summoning, banishing, and closing. But if one of you, when you finally get all your preparations done and you get this started, I would love each of you, Megan, Jordan, Crystal, to narrate a piece of this story, beginning, middle, end. By story, I mean this situation of trying to attract, what happens when they try and go through, what happens when they encounter your Wile E. Coyote trap.
Oh, that's so delicious. Can I jump in first?
Yeah, go for it.
So not only am I going to jump in first, but I'm going to do the exact opposite of what Nate just asked of us.
Cool.
Versus addressing what is happening here in this
Perfect.
cave. Nate, will you allow me to do a pan out to like what's happening in Deep Lake?
100%.
Oh my goodness. So we've been fucking around doing this for 2 hours, and those kids in the shadows that escaped them are already starting to integrate, combine, and quote unquote attack citizens in Deep Lake. So this is like one of those things where like a mother is like, carrying a newborn and she's singing a lullaby because the baby woke up late. It's the middle of the night, the wind and the sirens, and then just like the woman and the newborn walk down a small hallway, they disappear, and then there's just this collapse and a baby cries. It's just like this shadow jumps through a wall. And then like there's another situation where like there's an old drunk that's having a conversation with his dog, and then suddenly the dog's eyes go completely black and the dog mauls the guy, but he like bleeds out in total silence because no one listens to old Jack. It's just one of those things that one by one these shadows are jumping into the things that they can do now in Deep Lake, because it's taking us so long to get this going. They are free, they are off leash, and they are growing more feral by the moment.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all have the cave. Thank
No,
you, Nate, for that.
Something that I think definitely happens is when we all come together to drink that ichor. You've scraped up. Megan has scraped up just enough for all of us. We each have like our own little amount, and it's not a lot, so we do our best to consume all of it. Like licking the sides of the little shot glass, and as it slides down our throat, it tingles a little bit. It kind of burns, but the sensation that's worse than that is an overwhelming feeling of emptiness.
Oh.
Like a numbness inside your body. Like it once was there. What was inside you once was there is now gone. You feel hollow on the inside, like at any moment you could not exist, and that would be the correct thing. Like that would be the right way to be, would be to not exist. There is something inside of you that has been taken away, replaced by this, and all you feel is an overwhelming emptiness. All three of us downing this stuff.
All right. Are we ready for this? So, since we drink this stuff and it makes us feel hollow, we start playing the noise. We also feel the pull of that zip drive. And we see all the children come out of the woodwork, and they come to this cave. And we all link hands. And we all walk in the door. And it slams shut.
And that same glow, for a second, fills that cave with white light. And then it dies down, and that seam is gone. And there's just for a second, the whisper of childish, giggling laughter. And can I take us back 10 years? Deep Lake, the latchkeys, Megan, Jordan, Crystal.
Take us back 10
This
years.
is
Especially
this is
because
public
Tiffany just
access.
TPK'd us. This is delicious.
Yep, this is public
This
access.
is public access. Let's go.
This is VHS and analog time. So we are Brady bunched. We see Megan on the left, Jordan in the middle, Crystal on the right of the screen. And they are younger, latchkey children, Megan, Jordan, Crystal, as you were. And you're all laid out how you watch your programs. It's Saturday morning, and you've got your bowl of cereal, you're in your pajamas, you're whatever you do when you were 8, 9, 10, and your favorite show shows up, Blam. And you wonder, I wonder what Blam's going to have on this time. Because last weekend, it was hilarious. They built the tree house, and then everyone was falling out of the tree, and there was a safety episode, and and you're watching your show, you're eating your cereal, your sugar cereal, and this episode, we see this foot race, and the kids are racing, and Hester's almost in front, but Megan kicks a little foot out. Adult Megan. And for a second, the camera pans and you can see Megan, Jordan, Crystal, your adult faces chasing after those kids. And you can't hear the audio because the camera pans almost just as quickly back. But Jordan, your face, you can clearly read, "Let me out of here. Let me out of here. Let me out." And then we're back in the foot race and Amber wins. Because Amber always wins. Thank you for playing public access with me. Megan, Jordan, Crystal, Bridgett, Miranda, Tiff, this was outstanding. It was great fun. The end.
Fritz is traumatized.
Yeah, sorry. It's the only way I saw it. If we were
Me
on
too.
both
Me
sides.
too. I was same page. I think if you didn't kill us all, I thought Nate was going to. So,
And we're going to discuss that in the talk back. With Symphony, if you want access to that talk back, I suggest you go to Patreon and back it. I have no closing notes for this stream because that was too strong. So what I am going to say is thank you, Nate. Thank you, cast. Thank you, viewers. We hope you've enjoyed the Symphony. Have an incredible night.